morning, afternoon or evening from whenever or wherever you are watching this video from. I am Jack Adamus, back my Premier League football predictions, episode 17, game week 17. Let's get straight into it. We start game week 17 with a 12:30 kickoff on Saturday, which sees Newcastle at home to Chelsea. Newcastle won in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday, which now means they're in the semi-final for the third time in 4 seasons, which was a great response to that defeat in the derby to Sunderland last weekend. They do need to get back to winning ways in the Premier League though, as they do find themselves 6 points off top 4. Chelsea currently sit 4th in the Premier League, and they also booked themselves a place in the semi-final of the Carabao Cup on Tuesday as they beat League One Cardiff to do so. The fact that they did get an extra day's rest, and the fact that they was able to rest players as they did play weaker opposition, they will have the advantage coming into this one. But Newcastle have won the last 4 home head-to-heads between these two sides, which is their longest run in 40 years. I do think that will change come full time though, as I can see Chelsea leaving with all 3 points in this one in a 1-0 victory. Moving on to the 3 o'clock kickoffs, we start at the Vitality Stadium where we have Bournemouth at home to Burnley. Bournemouth come into this one out of form, as in late October they were sitting 2nd in the Premier League, but since then they've gone 7 games without a victory. One positive for them though, they have picked up draws in their last 2 matches, and they were against Chelsea and Manchester United. Burnley lost last weekend, which was their 7th defeat in a row, and they've now tasted defeat 12 times this season out of their 16 matches. That loss last weekend though, it did see the fan base turn on Scott Parker as the boos did echo around Turf Moor. The head-to-head between these two sides is even over the last 6 games, with 3 wins for Bournemouth and 3 wins for Burnley. I do think that Bournemouth will get their 4th win in 7 though here, as I can see them winning here in a 2-0 victory. Next up we have Brighton at home to Sunderland. This will be the first ever Premier League tie between these two sides, and although that Brighton find themselves still in the top half of the table, they are winless in their last 3 matches, with 2 losses either side of a draw, 2 of which did come on home soil. Sunderland will be high in confidence coming into this one, as they did win the local derby last weekend, and they now sit on 26 points, which is the most points from a promoted side at this point of the season since 2008-2009, but they do need to follow that up with a victory here though, as they do only have 2 wins in their last 7 Premier League matches. 11 of Brighton's last 12 home matches has seen both teams to score on the day. I think that'll be 12 come full time, as I can see Brighton winning here in a 2-1 victory. Next we travel to the Etihad where we have Man City at home to West Ham. Man City booked themselves a place in the Carabao Cup semi-final midweek with a 2-0 victory over Brentford, which continues their winning streak to 6 games in all competitions, and they find themselves only 2 points off top spot, so they know if they do get the victory here and results go their way, they could find themselves at the top of the tree at Christmas. West Ham find themselves in the relegation zone 3 points from safety, and it does look more likely that they will be staying there over the Christmas period unless we get a shock in our hands here, as they haven't won a game in the Premier League in their last 5 matches. And with Man City being unbeaten in their last 19 Premier League head-to-heads against West Ham, with 16 victories and 3 draws, I think it will be 20 come full time, with Man City winning here in a 3-0 victory. And the last 3 o'clock kickoff sees Wolves at home to Brentford. Wolves are still in the hunt for their first win of the season, and they were unlucky last time out as they did lose in injury time to top spot Arsenal as they lost that game 2-1, which was their 9th defeat in a row. If they do suffer another defeat here, they'll become only the 4th team in Premier League history to lose 10 games in a row. Brentford are winless in the month of December with 3 losses and 1 draw to their name. They have lost their last 5 away games in all competitions as well, not scoring a goal in 4 of those matches. So if you go on the form guide, this is a great chance for Wolves to get their first win of the season. This game really is a game that could go either way, but the fact that Brentford have only lost 1 of their last 4 visits to Molineux, I do think this one will be a cagey affair, but I do think Brentford will get the better of Wolves in a 1-0 victory. Next we have game of the weekend. It is the 5:30 kickoff between Tottenham and Liverpool. Spurs sit 11th in the table, 6 points off of top 4 and 9 points off of relegation, which reflects to their form in the league where they have only won 1 of their last 7 league matches, and last time out they was extremely poor as they lost 3-0 away to Nottingham Forest. Liverpool look like they've turned a corner, and they look more like the Liverpool of last season as they've now gone 5 games in all competitions without tasting defeat, 4 of which came in the Premier League. 2 of those games did end in draws though. If they did win those games, they would have only been 6 points off of top spot, which is crazy to think after the disastrous season they've had. And with Liverpool losing only 1 of the last 14 Premier League head-to-heads between these two sides, which came in a controversial manner a few seasons ago with the offside-onside goal and the 2 red cards, I do think that that trend will continue here, as I can see Liverpool getting all 3 points in a 2-0 victory. And for the 8 p.m. kickoff on Saturday night, we have Everton hosting Arsenal. Everton lost last weekend, which was only their second defeat in their last 7 Premier League matches. They now find themselves 2 points away from 5th place Crystal Palace and 4 points away from 4th place Chelsea. And they know that if they do get a victory here, it will secure a top half finish by Christmas for the first time since the 2021 season. Arsenal looked poor last weekend in their victory over Wolves, but they did show signs of champions in that game as they got pegged back to 1-1 in the 90th minute and they still went on to win that match. And they know now that if they do get a victory here, it will guarantee top spot by Christmas for the 3rd time in 4 seasons. And with Everton being winless in their last 5 meetings against Arsenal, and with only Manchester United beating Everton more times than Arsenal in the Premier League, I do think that Arsenal will get their 39th victory against Everton in a hard-fought 2-1 victory. Also at 8 p.m, we have Leeds at home to Crystal Palace. Leeds find themselves 3 points above the drop zone, so they know if they get a point here, they will stay out the relegation zone over the Christmas period. And that is because they've turned their form around of late, where they had only won 1 of their last 7 league matches. They're now gone 3 games without tasting a defeat. Palace are at a disadvantage here, as they are playing their second game in 48 hours, albeit in that Conference League game they played a much changed side, and they know if they get a victory here, they could end this game week in the top 4. With Palace beating the other 3 teams in the bottom 4 at their home ground this season, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Crystal Palace win here, although I do believe this one will end in a 1-1 draw. Next up, we have the only game to kick off on Sunday, which is the 4:30 kickoff between Aston Villa and Manchester United. Aston Villa currently sit 3rd in the table, 3 points off of top spot, and that's after another victory last weekend where they had to come from behind twice to beat West Ham, as they did 3-2 with Morgan Rogers scoring twice in that game, which now means they've won 9 games in a row. If they do get another victory here, it'll be the first time they've won 10 games in a row in over a century. But United come into this game and they are unbeaten in their last 4 matches, and in their last 2 games they've scored 4 goals in both of those matches, although last time out they scored 4 goals, they did also concede 4 goals in that crazy 4-4 draw against Bournemouth. They are unbeaten in their last 5 league away matches as well. But with United winning 41 head-to-heads against Villa, it is their second most wins against a single opposition. I can't see that being the case this time round though, as I can see Aston Villa finishing this year strong in a 2-0 victory. And to round out game week 17, it is the Monday night kickoff at 8 p.m. at Craven Cottage, where we have Fulham at home to Nottingham Forest. Fulham won last weekend with a 3-2 victory away to Burnley, but they followed that up losing in the Carabao Cup midweek at Newcastle, which now means in their last 8 matches they've got 4 wins and 4 losses to their name. They have lost their last 2 home league matches as well. They haven't lost 3 on the bounce at home since 2022. Forest moved 5 points clear of the drop zone last weekend with a great win over Spurs as they won that game 3-0. Which now means they've won 4 of their last 6 league matches, which is the same amount as they have got in their last 18. But with Fulham winning 5 of the last 6 head-to-heads between these two sides, I think they'll make that 6 come full time, as I can see them winning here in a 3-1 victory. Thank you very much if you are still here at the end of my video. I really do appreciate the love and support I've been getting from you guys. Please do continue to like and share, but most importantly, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you are celebrating, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. Have a good weekend, guys. And remember, if you don't shoot, you can't score. Bye, guys. Have a good weekend.